was born in San Francisco. He's an educator, an organizer, who was taught at detention centers around the country and at the Institute for Research at Columbia University, where he earned his bachelor's and master's degrees in African American Studies. He's the author of 4 books, including Heaven is All Goodbyes, which won a Penn Oakland Award, American Book Award, California Book Awards, and National California Booksellers Association Poetry Book of the Year in 2018. His latest, Blood on the Fog, was named one of the best poetry books of 2021 by the New York Times. It is my honor, my pleasure, to present the 8th and current Poet Laureate of San Francisco, Mr. Tongo Eisen-Martin.
A lot of God can happen in 3 seconds. Not much heaven, though. Here is a man before a fight. A leave me alone type character, emerging from the penniless death of a one-way street fiction, a fancy way of saying I'm gonna make it, even if I have to drive backwards. All I have is chord changes and 1,000 backhands. Driving the street like I'm choking. Car full of nephews, hasn't been a sun since November, and there hasn't been a street I can't choke to death. This city better back down. You see this gun on the table? And something about staring until it all feels stable. Why wouldn't I protect everyone on my death sleep blade? My son better be quick. My daughter better shoot first, because we fall for no one. We fall for nothing. Okay, the first thing you'll feel is the heat. This lady will tell me, try to tell me about possession. Drink like beat is what I mostly hear, and most of the world leaves me alone. To breathe small like a giant, to go to jail every once in a while when the genocide kicks up in late May, when politicians have too easy a time, I'm gassing backwards on a one-way street in honor of myself. And in honor of you, if you understand the nature of the world. And how long I've been just like my father, a real resemblance as the anxiety in the neighborhood. This is a crossroads or a crossroads narrative of so much crossroads, people get in the habit of turn back only to find themselves remembering me, but not my last words, the man before a fight. You feel the heat. There's nothing to keep in mind, there's nothing to remember, really, there's nothing to be. There's just this moment and another. Instead, then it all becomes stable, then the table legs go fuzzy and Fridays, an unfamiliar face peeking in the window. It's cool to panic for a second. Composers wasting on your worst enemies. People are marked on their sidewalk. You the only thing life size. Everybody knows it's in a wire hanger empire. When the blood stops walking, that feeling isn't father enough to be permission to fold. You better swing one more time. You know, that father of yours rose from the grave and said, just give me 5 more minutes. He said, running water is a myth. It's us who are running up, down, and all alongside this water. And people don't rise from the grave, they're not laid down either. It's us who flip all around their bodies, so beware when the people around you all look like they're about to jump, it might be your time. You'll feel the heat. And when 4 walls demand to be 4 walls and the earth outside, muse, don't panic. Don't try to recreate the earth outside, don't tell jokes to yourself, don't even talk disrespectfully to the 4 walls. Instead, unclench your fist and walk away. There might be heaven, if you understand the nature of the world. I talk facing away from the dead. They replace me with the change in my pocket. A penny that's yet to be invented. They say you have to know how to cut a throat on the way to cutting the throat. After sleeping on a mattress made from 2 garbage bags of clothes, I became content with the small gestures of plantation fires. Playing with couch ashes, I realized how weird the universe was. It exists in so many places, man. So many random things that interrupts me while I'm trying to dream. Like your clay correspondence, Lord. Hey, to be transparent, I have 20 books next to a bullet like an old man giving advice at the beginning of a revolution. I've really done it, Lord. Explored the mumbles of my mind, explored what's naturally there, and I found no brainwashing. I found Africa, Lord. I have a future. It takes place in the diasporic South. I have one in possession. It's modern militancy. I mean, windows to the South. I will walk on a missile for food. I guess you will not want flowers for a few years, Lord. When I be tied face to face with the country, I'll merge with us, Lord. Our old metal versus new metal. Our old metal versus pool meandering imperialist spaces of multiculturalism of sorts. The dead replaced me with a comedian's chest cavity instead of a chest cavity held tight. It takes a violent middleman for me to talk to myself. Stories that travel through other people's stories, like a song about a song or a hemisphere about a hemisphere. Stories that travel through a concrete poem. I mean, my mother remembers Africa, Lord. She killed on behalf of you, Lord. I wore a machete all winter and no one asked me what it meant. I read 1,000 books in front of the world. What I do is fight poems and sleep through decades in San Francisco prayer circles, watch people play for post-working class associative services or recreations of a governor's desk, ruling class art of utility plan, find a sociopathic bureaucrat today. Some white people scared even easier. TV in a basket next to a ceramic baby, wearing ceramic armor, musket progeny, fantasizing through the art of the poor. Their trendy latches locked before God, black art hunted down like a dog and hand over my friends, Lord. Lord, I think I'm gonna die in the war. Unelected white people in my small house like a blue song of no spiritual effect, or a dollhouse H-bomb, or pony show near dead bodies, or apartheid weddings that go right, apartheid white people who give birth to mathematicians, the spiritual continuity of barracks and police stations, a chemical interpretation of a Sunday trip to church. Church smells in their pockets, a river mistaken for a talking river, no autobiography outside of small personal victories of violence and drug use, made in the image of God's trinkets, where white abolitionists confided in their children about chemical assurances that they would switch from black artists to white artists, from black guy to white guy, from black worker to white worker. Man, I think about you cautiously, Lord. In the same way I think about my childhood, Lord. Hey, Foxhole Friday nights, most of life is mute. A comedian points out a planter's field to a priest, King Sugar Cane, King Cotton King, revolutionary, the Bible Central, containing all modes of shallow introduction, introducing an unlisted planet class speaking about fevers and balance sheets and reassuring the masses that we can figure out our fathers later. A priest took my mother lightly, Lord, stood in front of parishioners re-rapping fantasies about black art. Priest reading confidently before I broke him and broke his parallel. After the day I've never been a poet before. A little brother watches his big brother's friends. They leave rifles on shelter walls. They agree with me and call it literature. It's a simple matter, this revolution thing. To really lie to no one, to keep nothing godlike, to write a poem for God. I had this dream. Planned during the week that I was laid up in the hospital. And, people kept coming into my room by the dozens, and each dozen had special handshakes for each other, and occasionally current dance moves, and they would kick my hospital bed from time to time to let me know that they'd be dancing from this hospital room on out to my grave, man. Strange cha-chas, soft shoe shuffles, disco spins, like they were dancing for a white sundial, marking numbness in their feet, drum race ride. And I was ready to die because, as the musician in the tunes after court, it's the surroundings themselves that is the uniform, but still, and I just couldn't bring myself to all the way visualize against God. One of them stood over me like a conductor, directing my heart to beat fainter and fainter, directing the tubes to turn the fluids back, and I kept fading from consciousness with thud after thud on the legs of my bed as they danced wilder and wilder. Wild but meek, or artificially meek, like an artificial pastor told me, there ought to be some kind of character or projection to be laid at their feet. You're the only one participating in the revolution today. They mocked me, and I was ready to go because, there's plenty of pianos that could use a new soul, and I'm sure going to be in the revolution for as long as it takes, so you can punch me out now. I was born with one foot in the live pit anyway, but man, check it out. No one bothered to ask the doctor if I was really dead. They was just too busy strutting, too busy kissing, man. I just kept fading with only enough breath and sweet consciousness to count their smiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I heard a voice, a whisper, and it was counting with me. 6, we said. 7, we said. 8. Then another voice joined us. 9. 10. And another, you see. I haven't been eating, Mama. I've been in the trance. I haven't been sleeping. and washing my face off the port of Charleston. There is blood on the fall. You know, these little societies, man, they wander together like hopeful drops of a virus. Citizen testaments bent on offer me a nation of breadwinners to hold me back, like it's a Brinks. I'm able to concrete sometimes, like flesh. My Martin Luther King permanence turned away from the podium into the reeds like God is dangerous twin on me. Black August to the mountaintop balcony on my bedroom floor. You know, they steal you from the earth itself and suspend you in your broken neck from their foolish euphoria. From the loyalty over there, gray superstitions, loyalty over there, agrarian reform, I return to my mother completely disrespected. For peeling the heat off of purgatory, they kill poets like me. Walk me away from my poems, never to be heard from again in this final industrial complex of bloodlines picked over, picked through a sporting spiritual death, or you devil at least half made. I mean, police become a pretty word. I'm reading a list on shoestrings like they were tea leaves, teaching you how to write about cities. It's the 25th century in the mirror, people. Tyranny against your chump change, and you're a chump to be mocking you with a gun in your car. A cubit of legal work spelled tuned for the proletariat, the relapse ministry. Times of people curled up in a fetal position next to a diamond dime. Just another surface day in the theatrics of tea-house fascism, in a bouquet of surveillance cameras, in the poverty of God, new blue eyes, courses of water, a newly potted presidency, a one big shiny coin if you ask animated capitalism, another non-literal voice, killing is white freedom, the deification of hyphens, medicine bread and picture shows, great protesters in LA, gas of our ink, drop kicking rolls in the graveyard. I mean, DC Mink like a stone torn in half, dependent advances, despite CIA guideposts, despite non-African past and futures, a metaphorical but not surreal day in the horn-ridden life-form player improvising king. And like a radio prize fight featuring Tongo himself, a real hand sweeps the land of racism. Now return to the ground. Now make progress with the gun on my mother, Emmanuel. They put on music that evening. A swinging type body language for you to drink with $5 bills for you. Body language, some applause. My past stomach lining, either a good thing or a bad thing, like being psychic on the way to a lethal injection. It'll sit you down with Lady Day. Lady Day leading youth who surrendered their souls to Africa too soon. Poverty thought floating in a cup of water, she saved me. Accessing my stomach, accessing the love of the American lynch. Cold sleeves, winning the avalanche into the wrist. I'm Mother Emmanuel, avalanche into the sharp keys. Pain. The deal you make with pain. The piano makes sense for them. Laying hands on the world gradually, addressing the bended necks on the streets of the north. I'm chopping, sailing in pain, repeating pain. The north had trigger fingers on that piano for me would have me, putting 100 fights on every direction off for the Lady Day. Leaning on trees again, recruiting the countryside itself, saying, lay your plan on this lightning. Make your poems a corner pocket of men. I greeted the blues itself. America may clean my dead body, but will never include me. There goes the poet. Killing without killing. Never mind this painting of your language. May I be a meaningful lynching. A crow's passing. Good and dead by the afternoon. Thank you.